Hey everyone, so in this video, I'm gonna show you how you can get max value from your credit card points to fly anywhere in the United States, pretty much for free, minus just a few dollars to cover taxes and fees. So I'm gonna walk through 5 steps of how I've saved tens of thousands of dollars on US flights with a simple point to mile strategy. And I'm also gonna show you examples of how you can do this yourself with all major US airlines, like booking this $377 flight with American Airlines for as low as 10,000 points plus $5.60 in fees, or this $339 Delta flight for only 9,600 points plus $560 in fees. So if you find this video valuable in any way, then go ahead and subscribe down below and then share this with a partner, a friend, or a family member that you want to go ahead and do some free credit card travel with. But let's just get right into it here. Now, step 1 in this process is going to be to focus on earning what we call flexible points currencies. So these would be the credit card points miles out there that come from the big names in the credit card world, like American Express, Chase, Capital One, Citi, and now Bilt as well. And the reason why we want to focus mostly on these flexible points comes down to one word, which is options. Earning something like American Express membership rewards points or Chase Ultimate rewards points ultimately is going to give us more options for how we can choose to redeem those points by doing things like transferring out to airline and hotel programs, or like redeeming them in a credit card company's travel portal. But to be honest, we actually want to avoid those travel portals, and I'll kind of explain why in just a minute here. Now, outside of those flexible points currencies, the other type of points miles would be fixed points currencies. So with that, think of miles you might earn from a Delta credit card or a United Airlines credit card, because basically you're only earning miles with Delta or United with those cards. And that can be fine if you fly with those airlines a lot, or if you have status with them or all that. But you are kind of limiting yourself in those situations because you don't really have that many options for redeeming those miles when you're locked into just that one currency. The big risk with that would be something like devaluation, which we actually see all the time in the points miles game. So for example, if you go all in with United and you're only earning United miles, and then all of a sudden United decides to increase the number of miles that it takes to book certain award flights, then you basically have less purchasing power with whatever miles you've saved up, and you cannot redeem those miles for as many flights. But if you had more flexible Chase points that transfer directly to United, as well as a bunch of other partner programs, you could just stop transferring to United if those miles got devalued, and instead look to transfer to other airlines like Air Canada, for example, to book United flights through their Star Alliance partnership. Now, transferring points and taking advantage of airline alliances is actually way easier than you might think, so I'm going to show you how to do some of that stuff later on with some examples here. But for now, step 2 after you've earned some flexible points currencies is to save up your points, and again, do not redeem in the travel portal. And I think that using travel portals is actually one of the most common beginner mistakes that myself and so many other people make when it comes to credit card points. Now, the reason that you might not want to use those travel portals comes down to opportunity cost, where, for example, let's say you had a card like the Chase Sapphire Preferred and you had 100,000 Chase points. So the Sapphire Preferred has a 25% points boost feature when you book travel through Chase's portal. And all that means is that instead of redeeming 100,000 points at the standard value of 1 cent per point for $1,000 of cash back, what you could do is book travel at 1.25 cents per point, or 25% more value in their travel portal, and get $1,250 worth of flights, hotels, or car rentals. Now, that sounds great because you get $250 more in value from booking travel through Chase compared to just redeeming for cash back. But what if you were able to get $2,000 or $3,000 in value or more for those same 100,000 points? So that's possible when we transfer points instead of redeeming in that portal, and all that extra potential value that we could get if we were strategic about using our points and miles the right way represents that opportunity cost that we need to be aware of. Now, the thing that I just mentioned earlier that kind of gets people lost is when they start hearing about the airline alliances and booking American Airlines flights with British Airways, or booking United Airlines flights with Air Canada and that kind of stuff, because it all gets confusing at first. But again, I promise you that if you stick with me here through steps 3 and 4 next, then I'm going to start to make a lot more sense, and it's going to change the way that you save money on your flights in the US by using points and miles. Now, okay, once we've earned the right kinds of flexible credit card points, and once we've saved them up over time, the next here we can start to redeem those. And to do that, for step 3, we want to identify airlines and flights for wherever we want to travel to. For this, I like to start by going over to Google Flights and then filtering down to one-way, because one-way flights in general are just going to give us more options and more flexibility when it comes to booking travel with points and miles. So I'm based in the Philadelphia area, which means that the 2 closest airports to me that I'm going to look at first whenever I'm looking to fly somewhere are going to be Philadelphia International and Newark Liberty. Now, Philadelphia is an American Airlines hub, which means I fly American a lot out of there. And then Newark is a United hub, so obviously there's going to be a lot of United flights out of Newark. And that's important because once I find a flight to wherever I want to go to, then I'm going to plan out how exactly I want to potentially transfer and redeem points to either book that airline directly or through another airline within the same alliance. So for this video, I'm going to do a few examples of the 3 major US airlines. So I'm going to say that I'm flying from Philadelphia to Phoenix using American Airlines. I'm going to say that I'm flying from Atlanta to San Diego on Delta, and then I'm going to fly from San Francisco to Chicago on United Airlines. Now, a couple of tips here as we start to get into these examples. So the first thing is that if possible, you want to try to be flexible when you figure out your travel plans. So you're not always going to find award availability on the exact day that you want to fly, which is why I like to try to be flexible and look at a wide variety of award availability from both of my closest airports on multiple days around the time that I want to fly somewhere. In terms of flexibility, it also helps to plan really far in advance, like almost 9 to 12 months out, to book flights with points and miles, because that's when airlines start to release award seats. Or it also really helps if you're flexible enough to change your travel plans or book travel last minute within a week or 2 of departure, because that's also when airlines will sometimes just release additional award seats when they don't get booked in cash. Now, for this first example of American Airlines, what I did was I just decided that I was going to search for some random dates out in next April. So the first thing I did was I just went over to Google Flights and I searched from Philly to Phoenix on April 13th, and I was able to see that there's plenty of nonstop American flights between these 2 cities for around $377, and there's plenty of flights with this one airline specifically because both airports here are American Airlines hubs. Next, I'm gonna go over to the American website just to confirm these flights and see exactly what type of economy class that price is for. So here I can confirm that for regular main cabin economy, it's that same $377 price. And what I did for this video was I went ahead and created a tool that's gonna basically help us to decide the best way to book this flight with points. So in this Google Sheets file, I just enter the flight information at the top here, and then I put down the cash price, which we're going to need later on here to decide if the points and miles price is going to be a good deal with different transfer partners. Now, you can download this file along with a guide to which credit card points transfer to different partner programs. So you can check that out completely for free at the link down below in the description. But let me show you how this works with some examples first here. So if we head back over to the American Airlines website, next what we're going to do is change the settings to search with miles by clicking on this redeem miles box at the top. And when we see the new results, we're going to notice that for all the nonstop flights, it's going to cost between 14,000 and 18,000 American Airlines miles. However, the problem here is that if we look over at my transfer partner guide, we can see that the only flexible points currency that transfers directly to American Airlines is Bilt Rewards. Now, not everyone has the Bilt card yet, and you might have saved up some other points from Amex or Chase or something like that. So what do you do if you've got all these other points currencies that do not transfer directly to American Airlines and you still want to book this Philly to Phoenix flight? So this is where airline alliances come into play, which brings us to the 4th step here, which is to check alliances and search for award seats. And luckily for booking American Airlines flights in this way, it's super simple. So American is a part of OneWorld Alliance, which basically means that if there's partner award availability, then you can book certain American Airlines flights with other airlines here in this guide that are also a part of OneWorld. And each airline might charge different amounts of points and miles for an American Airlines award seat. So we got to search for this award availability, and one of the best ways to do that for American and other OneWorld Alliance members is through British Airways. And British Airways is a direct transfer partner with Amex, Chase, and even Capital One. So all you got to do is make a free British Airways account over on their website and then go down to book and then book a flight with Avios, which is just the name of their points currency. And then you can just enter in the same flight search information as before with this one-way flight from Philadelphia to Phoenix on April 13th in economy. And after the search results start to pop up, we can see that 2 of those American Airlines flights are here on the day that we want. I like this one here that departs at 5:25 in the evening. So clicking on the economy box tells me that it costs 13,000 Avios plus $5.60 in fees, which is actually slightly less than the 14,000 miles plus $560 that American was charging. And you're not always going to find award seats for every single American Airlines flight here, but honestly, I've had pretty good success with finding award seats lately. And this British Airways website is always the very first place that I look to book American flights with points. Now, this brings me to step 5 in this process, which is going to be to transfer points. And one of the biggest tips here with this step that I use to bring down the total amount of points required to transfer is to take advantage of transfer bonuses. So let me show you what I mean. So recently, Chase was running a promotion where you could get a 30% transfer bonus when transferring over Ultimate Rewards points over to British Airways Avios. So for this example here, I know that if I needed 13,000 Avios to book that American Airlines flight through British Airways, then with a 30% transfer transfer bonus, I actually only have to transfer 10,000 Chase points, which is what my calculator tells me. Now, all major points currencies run these limited time transfer bonuses from time to time throughout the year, and they usually run for about a month or so. So what I like to do, if possible, is I try to wait for these transfer bonuses, and then if I know that I have to book flights within the next year or so, I basically try to take advantage of these bonuses while I can. So to compare the value of the points redemptions here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to that cent per point calculator tool, and I'm gonna go down to the transfer points option and enter in a few of the options I have for transferring points here. So if I had enough American Airlines miles in my account or with built rewards that I could transfer over directly to American Airlines, then I would need 14,000 miles with no transfer bonus plus $560 in taxes and fees. And based on the cash price of around $377, that means that redeeming points like this here would value this redemption at around 2.65 cents per point. But if I had Chase points and I was able to take advantage of that transfer bonus for a limited time to book that American Airlines award seat through British Airways instead, I would only need to transfer 10,000 points with a 30% bonus plus $560 in taxes and fees, and that would value this redemption at around 3.71 cents per point. And the cents per point thing is really just a way to compare your options pretty much apples to apples, because with the same cash price here, we want to use the fewest points as possible, which gives us a higher cent per point value, and that tells us what the best deal is. Alternatively, if we have a card like the Chase Sapphire Preferred that we're using at the moment, and we want to see how many Chase points it would cost us to book the same exact flight in the Chase travel portal, which is the easier option that a lot of people take, we can see that it would cost 32,552 points, which values this redemption at 1.16 cents per point based on the cash price on the American Airlines website. Normally, you can expect a fixed 1.25 cents per point when redeeming with the Chase Sapphire Preferred through the Chase portal because of the 25% points boost feature on that card. But in this case here, the cash price in the Chase portal is actually more than the cash price through American's website, and that is something to watch out for in these travel portals because it could cause some bad redemptions. So obviously in this example here, instead of paying $377 in cash through American's website, we could transfer Chase points for as little as 10,000 points and then pay just $5.60 out of pocket, which is a huge cash savings. Now, if we want to do something similar for Delta Airlines as well, for example, the same process is going to apply, but we just got to look at different options and different ways to book Delta flights because they're going to be a part of SkyTeam instead of OneWorld Alliance. So like I said earlier, if we wanted to fly from the popular Delta hub of Atlanta and we want to go out to fly to San Diego directly sometime in April, I found a great deal on April 10th for this 8:15 a.m. flight that normally would cost $339 through Delta's website, which I'm going to enter here in my tool so we can track the deals with points and miles. Now, first of all, if we looked at the number of Delta miles that it would take to book this flight directly here through the Delta website, it would take 31,000 miles plus $560 in taxes and fees. And American Express points do transfer directly to Delta, so we could transfer 31,000 Amex points to book this flight, and that would give us a redemption value of around 1.08 cents per point, which isn't really good. I could also look to book this directly through the Amex travel portal, which again is the very easy option that a lot of people seem to take. So for that, it would take 33,891 points at a redemption value of 1 cent per point, which is typically what you can expect when booking flights through the Amex portal. But for both of these first two options, that cost over 30,000 points, which again is too much for a flight like this. So we want to try to find better options. Now, because Delta is a part of SkyTeam, two other really good airlines that are also members of that same alliance that are good options for booking domestic Delta flights are going to be Virgin Atlantic or Air France KLM, which both share the Flying Blue program. So let's take a look at Flying Blue first. If we make a free account over on Air France's website and then search using the same information for Atlanta to San Diego, we can find this award seat for the exact same 8:15 a.m. flight on Delta. And over here in Air France, it only costs 16,000 miles plus $19.67 for taxes and fees. And using the Transfer Partners Guide, we can see that Amex and all other major points currencies transfer directly to Air France KLM with Flying Blue. Now, taking a look at transfer bonuses again, Amex was recently running a 25% bonus when transferring over to Air France. So if we go over to the tool, we would need 12,800 Amex points to transfer to book this plus the $19.67 in fees, which gives us a redemption of around 2.49 cents per point. And you do have to transfer over in 1,000 point increments. So really it's going to take 13,000 points transferred over here, but that's still a great deal compared to the 31,000 points if we transfer to Delta directly or book through the Amex portal. However, we could do even slightly better here if we have some Citi thank you points laying around from a Citi Premier card. And that's because Virgin Atlantic is also able to book SkyTeam partners like Delta. And as I'm filming this, Citi was running a 30% transfer bonus over to Virgin. So if we search on Virgin's website, we can can find that same Delta flight to San Diego for 12,500 Virgin points plus 560 in fees. And with its City to Virgin 30% transfer bonus, we would only have to transfer over as little as 9,600 City points and then pay that small 560 in fees, which is gonna value this redemption at around 3.47 cents per point. Again, you gotta transfer over in 1,000 point increments, so really it's like 10,000 City points, but still 10,000 points compared to 31,000 Delta miles or $339 to book this Delta flight directly. That's gonna be a steal and an easy way that you can also book US Delta flights when you find award availability. And then for United Airlines, they're a part of Star Alliance, and two other airlines that we can see from this transfer partner guide that could be very good for booking United award flights. Those are gonna be Air Canada with their Aeroplan program and Avianca with their Life Miles program. Now, for this example, I wanted to show a last minute award seat booking from San Francisco to Chicago. And that's because, again, some airlines will open up award seats as the departure date gets closer. So it's September 22nd as I'm filming this, and I'm gonna search for September 27th, which will have passed by the time this video is out. So we're gonna start off by searching over on Google Flights, where I found plenty of United flights available, and I can confirm these flights by searching over on the United Airlines website, where I found this one flight for 8:25 a.m. for around $358. Then by switching over to a search with miles, this is where we can actually easily identify award availability through United, because anything that says Saver Award and has this X next to it for economy, that should be bookable through Star Alliance partner airlines. And a tip with this is that I like to search on United's website without being logged in to my United account, and that's because I only want to see partner availability, and sometimes United will show me additional United only availability if I am logged in. So it's 15,000 United miles plus 560 in taxes and fees, and right now only Chase and Bilt will transfer directly to United, so we can transfer those points if we have them. And if we put those numbers into our tool, that gives us a redemption value of around 2.35 cents per point. But let's see if we could do a little bit better over on Air Canada and Avianca, since we know that this same award flight should be able to show up when we search over on those websites, and maybe we don't have any Chase or Bilt points, so we need to transfer with other points currencies. So if we log into Air Canada and then search using points for this flight, we can see that it costs 12,500 points plus $47 Canadian, which is about 35 bucks US. So in our tool, we can find out the redemption rate here, which ends up being about 2.58 cents per point. And again, that could be better if there's ever any transfer bonuses going on that allow us to transfer less points. For Avianca, we have to make our way over to their Life Miles search tool, where we can go ahead and enter in the same exact search information for that flight on September 27th. And this shows us that it also costs 12,500 miles plus a little bit less in taxes and fees at only $5.60. So because those taxes and fees are gonna be less here, the calculator tells us that this is the best option possible with a value of around 2.82 cents per point. And again, for this flight and for all other American Airlines and Delta Airlines flights as well that you might wanna book using points and miles like I showed you here in this video, not every flight is gonna be available for these award seats. So like I said before, it's good to be very flexible if possible and try to plan far in advance, or be willing to book last minute or change your travel plans when you come across a good points and miles deal. But if you want to book any one of these types of flights using points and miles, then you're going to need a very good travel credit card first that gives you access to all the transfer partners. So make sure you go ahead and check out this video over here next, where I talked about and ranked the best travel credit cards that'll earn you the most points. So I'll see you in the next video, but as always, thank you for watching.